Hey guys, welcome to TGS. Today we've got a bit of an odd one for you, and these are the guns that I wouldn't buy from this last year, 2019. So these guns aren't necessarily bad, they're just things that I think don't represent the best value for money. Variants and alternatives of which actually are quite the opposite. However, if you own one, don't feel offended, because they're not all bad and everyone's different and we all like different things. Alright, snowflakes away, let's go. So we're going to kick off with this. Do not buy English guns for less than 100 quid. We learnt we're back to the brink first thing this year that it's just a bad idea to buy anything that is too good to be true in gun world, because it's probably crap. And that was pretty bad. So that's the first thing that I wouldn't buy, would be that back from the Brink gun, which I did buy, which was just a mistake. But it was great fun all the same, so, you know, hindsight's a wonderful thing. Hindsight's a healer. Time is a healer. And I feel like over time I've healed. However, every time I look at that gun, I realise and remember, don't buy on. It's a mistake. Next up is the Zini Round Body Deluxe. So we had a couple of Zinis in for review, and we had the standard round body and the Round Body Deluxe. The Round Body Deluxe is £2 more expensive and has a game scene. And I genuinely just felt like between them, there wasn't £2 extras worth of stuff on that gun. And that's why I wouldn't buy it. Because actually, and I've struggled with this with a lot of gun makers, is putting frills on and then charging you a lot more money for something that actually, when you look at the actual time cost, input and material extra, really doesn't warrant that much. And all they're doing is putting a snobbish price on it, or a snobbery tax on it, which always grates me just a little bit. And I don't mind, but there's certain levels of it that just you go, that's just not £2 worth. Anyway, sorry, Zini, I didn't mean it, because I genuinely think that the standard round body is amazing value for money and a really, really, really nice gun. I just couldn't in my head justify the extra couple of grand for a game scene. But that's me, not you, so don't worry about it. Let's go. Next up is the Breeder 3.5 SM. What used to be essentially a Breeder Grizzly, the 3.5-inch Breeder. We took one out. We never actually released a video on it because it wasn't overridingly positive. However, you can see it if you join as a member down below. And it was just not a great gun for what the average sportsman would use it for. Yes, it's going to cycle 3 and 3.5 inch really easily, but it was being quite fussy with anything less. I mean, we were shooting 34 and 36 grams through it, and it just wasn't playing ball. And that's 3.5 inch autos overall for this year. Not just that, but across the range, anything with a 3.5 inch chamber, I probably wouldn't buy unless you're really going to use 3.5 inch cartridges. Because, guess what? They're less fun than every single 3-inch variant, and less reliable than every single 3-inch variant, and more fussy than every 3-inch variant. Although I'm sure there's going to be someone below who comments saying, I own a 3.5 inch gun and put 28 grams 7.5 for it. Nah. And I go, great, good for you. But this hasn't been my experience, or the experience of lots of people who I know who have had and purchased 3.5 inch autos this year. So that one goes on the list. Again, so if you own one, they're a great gun, but it's all about horses for courses, right? The end. Next up is the ATA Supersport non-adjustable. For a gun that in the adjustable variant for just a couple of extra quid is amazing value for money, the non-adjustable just to me doesn't seem quite there. But this doesn't even go for the Supersport, this goes for a lot of guns out there. But certainly with a lot of the cheaper Turkish guns coming in, they're not charging a huge amount of money to have adjustable combs fitted from the factory. And actually, where a lot of them are fairly front heavy anyway, you can get an awful lot by moving them back. A, in fit, B, in balance. And there's something to be said for that. It might not be beautiful in any way, shape or form, but there's a lot of practicality that can be had in an entry-level gun that you can actually work a lot with gun fit on as well. That to me would say, if you're going to buy an entry-level gun, Turkish, cheap and new, buying an adjustable comb on it seems intelligent. So I wouldn't buy a non-adjustable entry-level gun unless it fits you really well. And if it fits you really well, that's great. But if it doesn't, there's a potential that maybe spending an extra little bit is going to get you a whole lot more. There you go, that's it. But the ATA Supersport was just my case in point. Not that I think that they're bad guns, in fact they're really good. And I would buy the adjustable Supersport ATA as a new gun for less than £1,000. I think it's great. But the non-adjustable is less good for not a lot less money. So it works both ways, as I'm saying, is if you spend a lot more, you might not get a lot, but if you spend a little bit more, you can get a huge amount more. So this is what I'm talking about. These small gains for little amounts of money that actually give you leaps and bounds better quality. Not saying, well, this is the adjustable gun, that's worth extra $2,000. Because that would be a bit of a piss take. My last thing is more of a general statement than an actual gun that I wouldn't buy. But it's any gun that costs a lot of money that doesn't have over grade 1 wood on. And I know that lots of people out there will have them, but I do feel like it's time to move on from grade 1 wood in any gun that costs over $1,000 brand new. There's no excuse not to put a little bit of grade 2 on there. There's so many Turkish manufacturers there, and quite a few Italian manufacturers who start now at grade 2 because it gives you just that little bit of character. And I don't think there's any excuse not to put that on. The actual material cost is so minimal over the top of a standard that I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that won't care. But it's nice to have that little bit of extra wood on a gun. I think, but that's just me. I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. But I think that 2020, gun makers should use this as the year of grade 2 wood. And take the grade 1 wood and burn it all. Guys, thank you very much for watching. Take care. Goodbye. It's been brilliant. And I'll see you next time.